Ever wondered what truly sets unforgettable hospitality apart from just another stay? This is the Global Hospitality Collective podcast, where we go beyond the surface to uncover the stories of short-term rental and vacation rental leaders who are reshaping our industry. Every other week, authors behind the Hospitable Host book series unpack the real strategies, lessons, and heart-led decisions driving meaningful change in hospitality. So if you're ready to challenge the status quo and elevate the way you host, you're in the right place. Let's dive in.
Hi, everybody. This is Tanya with the Global Hospitality Collective. I'm really excited today to have the guests on that we do. They are coming at us from Quebec, Canada, and they were in the Hospitable Host Couples book, and I think this came out in February of 2026. I think it was Valentine's Day specifically.
Valentine's Day.
Very, very clever. And they're in chapter 8, and it's Kerri and Philippe. And I am excited to get started. They told me a couple of things right prior, and I'm really excited to ask those questions. So let's kick it off with you guys say, like, what do you got going on? What's your business look like? All that good stuff.
Well, first, thanks for having us, Tanya. I actually have known who you were for a while from the Thanks for Visiting tribe.
Excellent.
It's nice to connect with you. So we are corporate escapees, as so many people are these days, looking for something a bit more fulfilling in life. And so we are owner operators of a boutique hospitality brand in Quebec that consists of 6 ski chalets. And we recently, 16 months ago, bought a motel that we are coming from, that we are in the middle of renovating. So we do all the renovations ourselves. We buy properties that are in need of some TLC. We do all of the renovations and flip them into hospitality properties. And after doing 6 residences and a short-term rental, we were like, what's next challenge? And here we are. It's a lot. It's different than a short-term rental, but that's us.
Yeah. So a boutique motel, how many keys in this boutique motel?
So we bought it at 16. We have 17 and we're going to add another one. So it's going to be maxed out. That's 18 rooms. We renovated 10 rooms so far.
I counted this morning in the shower. I was like, how many rooms have we renovated?
Yeah, 10, but most of them have been really transformed, so there's not much left to be done. So it's most of them are renovated, and we kept the motel open all through the renovation because we're going one room at a time. And like Kerri was saying, we're doing the renovation ourselves with help of a few professionals for the technical part, but
electricity, plumbing.
So not bad for an accountant and a tax specialist that transform into a carpenter and marketer.
Yes.
Yeah. I've never thought about that. I'm a past corporate person as well, and I think about the fact that the stuff that I know how to do now is pretty crazy. Like, I don't tile or anything like that, but there's enough that I can be super dangerous on a construction site.
Right?
I can do this myself.
And we can learn. We've been lucky to have like a general contractor that was happy to mentor him, and like you can learn so much stuff, like how to properly plaster drywall on YouTube, and it just takes practice. I mean, honestly, people joke about it, but there are so many professionals doing so many great things on YouTube that just over time perfecting, learning how to tile, learning how to plaster the right way, it is actually attainable for just about anyone that's willing to learn. So.
Absolutely. So tell me the differences. So I've actually done a boutique motel as well, and I'm no longer in that deal, but I am curious. How have you guys felt? Because you said that you guys have 10 rooms like up and running right now. What is the differences that you've noticed between the 10 in the boutique motel versus the other properties that you guys have that are freestanding, single families?
You want to go or do you want me to go?
Go ahead.
Okay. So I tend to overtake, so I have to ask him. Oh my goodness. So the biggest thing is the pace of operations. Like people tell you that like it's so different from having short-term rentals from the expectations of the guests and the actual pace of operations. And like so we knew it theoretically in our heads, but then when we dove into it in our first busy season when we were operating, we had the full motel open in busy season. So we were operating 17 rooms that had 100% occupancy for 3.5 months on an average of one night stay. So we're like flipping a whole motel every single time. So the pace of those operations, the pace from which they come in, like that, the reservations happen, like we can get up to like 30 reservations a day that happen. The pace of the cleaning that has to happen, even though they're smaller spaces, your team still has to be on their game because you've got to turn that many and them. And then the pace of the client interaction was just wow. Like when they rent a short-term rental, in our experience, they book further in advance and they ask questions as they go along. And once they arrive, done. Like we rarely hear from them unless they have a where's this, where's that question. But like 90% of our guests we never hear from checkout to checkout. Here with the motel, just because of the difference, guests expect people to be on site and to have questions. So they don't pre-plan where are they going to dinner, where's the grocery store, da da da. They want to check in and they want to ask someone the whole entire list of questions and engage. So yeah, so it's completely different, like from guest engagement to operation pace.
And for sure, we're in transformation right now. So when we first took the motel, it was operated as a traditional hotel where people were going to the reception, getting their key. They were key punching the card number to take the payment, and the next morning they were coming back to give you the key. Our plan was, okay, we're going to operate it similar to a short-term rental where you're not going to see people. We probably underestimate the time it will take to do the transition. But now we're getting there. Like I would say, depending on the season, it's probably 75% of people that we don't see because they go to their room directly. They have their code, the payment has been processed, and they leave the next morning and they are happy about it. But there's still probably the older generation that still don't read the communication we send in advance, show up at the reception, and they say, "Whoa, okay, I never saw this before, an hotel that works like this." But no, I think we're to the point we proved that this model will work for the motel, and this give us a much more flexibility operating it.
It does. It works for the motel in general season, like when it's not high season. High season here is very international. And so we have a lot of European guests that come here because of the French language. And those guests always want to talk to someone. So in summer, we'll have to have always someone on staff because part of the experience of traveling internationally is getting to know the local culture. So they don't really want a more sterile check-in, check-out. But when we're not in high season and it's more local travelers, like people in Quebec and Canada, they're less likely to want to talk to us. So that was a good point.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So you guys don't have a full-time front desk person, except for on season. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yes. So what we did, we don't. So what we did, and even when we're on site, like even in high season, we're not sitting behind a desk. If we happen to not be in reception, then there is a Ring doorbell that connects to our phones so that we're available even if we're not sitting there at reception. So just that Ring doorbell has allowed us to like take our dog for a walk, as in high season and get a little bit of a break. But yeah, automating, putting in technology as much as possible, like is really a goal for us. Even when we're on site, it still gives us freedom.
Yeah. I think a lot of this stuff can be pushed well with communications and big communication of like setting the expectation of like, hey, there isn't a front desk person here. Like we had a lot of this as well. Like the older generation, you're completely right. That's usually when you have the most problems because they don't understand that they can't bring a check to the front desk. Like I'm not looking for your money to come into as cash and things like that. And then communicating with them well that there isn't somebody on site because there doesn't need to be. So it's almost like changing their expectation about what a hotel or a motel is. And that can be a little bit harder in this process of boutique motel versus, a short-term rental.
Yeah.
For sure. We're the only ones in the region doing this. The rest operate very traditionally. So, we're the first ones really using a tech stack like revenue management and things, and, an automated guest experiences and technology, the digital keypad. So really it's kind of a trend. It's something we're starting in this area as well. So so not only do we have the generational, but we just have the vibe of the whole area that we're kind of, really pushing the upper limits on. But it's fun. We've always done
Awesome.
pushing the
Oh,
limits in our
awesome.
career, so we're happy to push the limits.
Oh, it's perfect. Okay, so if we hop over to, I mean, this can be about your motel or the short-term rentals, but can you tell me what's the difference in the way that you provide hospitality? Like, what's your secret sauce? What is the thing that makes you guys stand out and people want to stay at your properties more than somebody else?
Oh my goodness. So I think the motel is an extension of our short-term rental brand. Like we think of it very much the same. We love short-term rentals. We just happen to be in a motel right now. And I think that's one of the great things about hospitality is you can create this path that's so individual to you and your passions, So a lot of people say it's a natural jump to go from short-term rental into boutique motels, but only if you have a passion for doing that. I know several people that have had short-term rentals and their passion was in creating marketing companies to help others. So that's the thing I love so much about hospitality. And I think for our region, because we've built a boutique brand that's actually quite well known in Quebec, and we're used a lot for marketing purposes by the tourism boards. We have a high number of repeat guests. We're often on local news channels talking about the tourism industry and things. And I think that it's because we come with it with a heart of hospitality, right? So when we make decisions, we're making decisions. Of course, we all have to pay our bills, but we're making decisions on what's the right decision for our guests, for our community, because we're in small towns in Quebec. So every, decision we make can also impact our community. But we come at it from that perspective as opposed to what's the financial impact, because we're big believers in if you do the right things by your guests and your community, the money follows. And
Yeah.
so I think that's truly what our secret sauce is like how would I want to be treated at every single moment along the journey of being our guest. And that's from the time they discover our website or our property, whether it's from an OTA, from our direct book site, or from a friend, all the way through the time they leave and they hopefully become return guests. But everything is about how would we want to be treated and what's the right thing by the guest, even if it means we're going to potentially lose some money on a reservation because something went wildly wrong. So yeah.
Definitely. Can you remind me of your company's name? The one
Yes.
that, is your boutique brand?
Yeah, so our umbrella company is called Experiences Uga, and then our chalets are the chalets Uga, and the motel is Motel Boutique Uga. But Uga is a um, Danish word that means to find joy and happiness in the cozy, simple moments with those that mean the most to you, is basically what it means. So it's a very Scandinavian word, and it's a concept that changed our lives the first time we went to Norway and the Scandinavian countries, and we were still in our corporate jobs, and we just saw that life was lived differently there. Especially they have a lot of winter, like we have winter here, and so yeah, it's a concept. It's a philosophy of life, um, more than anything else, and it's a philosophy that we adopted, and it's just who and what you surround yourself with, things and people.
Yeah, I noticed that in your guys' chapter that was your business name, and I love it because I've looked into this. And say the word again because I say it differently, and I'm sure yours is probably more correct.
Differently. Like even we mispronounced
I know.
this name wrong for a number of years before we finally got it down. It's pronounced Hygge, like
Hygge.
HOO-GAH. Hygge.
And for people that are listening, so you might think it looks like Hygge or Hygge, or I know it as Hygge as well. And so there's different versions of this. So again, I just wanted to point this all out because I feel like tons of people see that word, they know what it is or they know about it, they don't know how to spell it. So then it's like this chaotic thing. But I love the concept. I love that that's like your guys' business name because I think it's part of the brands that we're creating, right? Is like it's part of the hospitality experience, and it sounds like you guys put that on your hospitality experience, which is a really cool thing to do. So, kudos on that. Um, how do you feel like you guys are able to maintain that? Do you have a really, really good team? Like, I mean, we pick these names for our businesses and, we can embody them in a lot of different ways, but it's not only us and our businesses. We have to hire people that do that. So what does that look like for you guys? Are you able to, communicate really well with your team and that's how they make sure everything is set up with this in mind? Or what does that look like?
So we've been lucky to have a very stable team from the start. So we started the short-term rental in 2018, and our first hire was somebody cleaning that became our manager of operation over the years, and it's a person that we can really trust and really took the ownership. Like she talked about the chalet as her chalet. So she's really dedicated to the same philosophy of providing the service as we do. And this is what allow us to spend more time right now at the motel because now she's managing the operation that is 4 hours away than to the motel. And here in at the motel, we found somebody as well that really embraced the same philosophy, and so it's really naturally, I think, we've been able to find the right person that we're able to be aligned with the way we want to do things.
I think one thing that helps in that is that like we're super clear on what our values are. And even in the way we treat our employees the exact same way, like they're members of the team, of the company, an extension of they become extensions of the family, right? Because we get involved in their kids and their life, but it's really in the way we treat our employees that they love being here once they get here, but most of even before they will come into looking for a job for us, we've already established like they know what we're about. They've seen our social media, they've talked to other people in the community, or we're out and about in community and do that, and so they know that we're not just like a churn and burn type accommodation or employer, and that we really are like leading with heart. And so yeah, so I think that really aligns. And when people get here, and honestly we have been through a few people at the motel, because when we first started it was the typical motel employee that was used to a churn and burn and like move on, and then we were like, okay, we're gonna step back and we're like redo, like we're going to have the best practices for the way we clean rooms and how things are staged and whatnot, and when they're like, no, 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 I just like want to clean and get in and get out, they kind of like self-select out habits,
Gone.
so I think being clear on your philosophies and who you are and your core values in the community and with your employees from the beginning is like super important to getting the right team. That doesn't mean that a few people aren't going to like not work out, but it definitely helps with narrowing down the scope. And that's definitely been our secret sauce at the chalets as we built. We were known within the community. So then when it became known, oh, we were looking for someone to do this or that, we'd have people approach us when we were walking our dog at the dog park and say, hey, I know that you're going to be moving to the motel. I would love to work with you guys in some way if you have anything available. I mean, so yeah, it's kind of organically grown.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I love hearing stuff like that because it's true. The more, like, I mean, there's a comfort level and you're supposed to be supporting community by having short-term rentals. Like, I think that's one of the great things about Hospitable Hosts is like there is a different version of being hospitable when you like are involved in this group because it's not just these people over here that are just, giving the lock code and that's your whole experience. Like, it's a heck of a lot more than that, which is really, really fun to get to experience. So I'm happy to hear that that's this kind of stuff that you guys embody and that people have noticed it. So can you tell me, you told me to me, this is staggering because I don't know a lot of people that do this many direct bookings. I'm specifically asking about your chalets, not about the motel, because motels and hotels, they really do book differently. You can very easily be 100% direct book. So you told me that you were about 70% direct booking. Is that with your chalets specifically?
That is with the chalets. We're not
Okay.
there yet on the
How?
motel. So we're trying to get the
Yeah,
motel
that's
further along. So it's definitely the chalets that are direct book success story.
So tell me how on earth that happened, because I've seen numbers 30 to 40%, maybe 50%, and people are rolling. So how on earth have you guys been able to do that? Because that's an amazing number.
So I think a lot has to do with your market first, to be super transparent. So we are a huge drive to and return market. So we're in ski chalet, we're in ski area, and then we're also in lake area. So we have very seasonal, strong seasons in which we're drive to for like Montreal and Toronto and New York City and Philadelphia and Boston. And so we have a lot of drive to market that's return guests, right? So we actually 40% of our guests are return guests, like 40% of our reservations. Yeah. So I mean, I think that really speaks that, how we treat our guests, as an extension of our family, and making sure that everything for them is as perfect as it possibly can be, and when things don't go right and how we react. But um because they definitely have plenty of accommodation reason, but once they stay with us, they become locked in, and we just got an email the other day from a guest from Maine whose kids go to college, university here, and he wrote and he was like, what once became just a stopover on the way for us to see our kids has become a core part of our family time together, meeting together at your chalets to spend time away, so yeah, so first of all, like knowing your market and knowing that we had a strong return guest. So 40% of our guests are return guests. So to be fair, of brand new bookings, that means 30%. We only drive 30% and first time bookings. And that comes from a big marketing strategy. Like it wasn't just a website, you build it and you will come. But it's having a multi-pronged strategy of your digital presence, not only from your website and your SEO, and now your agentic AI searches and everything we have to stop thinking about, but also our social presence, our involvement with the tourism boards, our partner marketing, like partnering with other small businesses who align under the same guest avatar that we align under. And then working our way up into paid ads, having enough presence to actually drive good ROI on paid ads. So yeah, so it's a multi-tier prong that you can't, like, I've been working on, since I've figured out this was going to be a thing, I've been working on a direct book strategy since 2019. So, our first year was exactly like, it's at 5%, 10%, a few guests that were returning. So it's something that I continually work on. And it wasn't until 2024 that we hit 70% the first time. So I worked on it for 5 years until we arrived at that number. But we have been able to maintain that number ever since then by executing on all those different pieces that I just mentioned, which I could talk about each of those for hours if you wanted me to. I'm sorry, Tanya. I know we don't, but it's something I'm so passionate about.
It sounds like you're an overnight success.
So yeah, I mean, it was far from an overnight success. Like it took a lot of work, 5 years to get there, and so yeah, so that's the biggest thing is committing, and the core of that is, yeah, like Philip was gonna say, we invested in websites from the beginning, and um, your website just has to be built for the lowest hanging fruit, and it grows over time. I think people like have to launch with this full grown website and you don't, it's having a strategic plan in place for year one. I'm going to have this capability in year two, and building it over time.
And I think we were having like 2 properties at first when we got a website.
We had 3
Two,
properties.
3, yeah. We just acquired the third one. And I remember when we got like the first direct book and was kind of laughing about it because it was saying, oh, our website that drives 2 booking. But now that we're away from this, when we think of 70% of our booking come directly, it's quite a. I regret saying that I was laughing about your 2 reviews that you got direct.
No, it's true. It takes a little bit of time, but it sounds like you guys have a secret sauce there for sure. Because there's plenty of people that have a direct booking site. Normally, our job is just to maintain the bookings that we get. Like Airbnb will
Yeah.
get us the booking,
Yeah.
and it's our job to get the second, third, and fourth booking. And whether or not we do that's the part that's up to me. So it sounds like you guys are doing a real good job of making sure people want to come back. So that's cool. Is there anything specific about your properties that stands out that's the reason people stay besides the vibe? Because it's very clear that it's because of a vibe. But do you guys have special like design? Do you guys have special amenities? That's something that's big or anything like that?
Gonna say the same thing. You know what we might have multi. You know what one of our secret sauces is dogs. We are dog friendly. We have been dog friendly since day one. For us, dogs are just part of life, and we provide properties that are nice, elevated properties that accept dogs. Most places that accept dogs, they're dog friendly because they have to be, not because they want to be. But then they like put them in like the lowest tier rooms. They're not as nice rooms, and like we are 100% dog friendly, rolling out the red carpet for the dogs, and well maintained properties that we have everything professionally cleaned 2 times a year, furniture. But yeah, I think like really doubling down on dogs, not only because we love it, but because we found, oh my God, people are really like excited about this, is one of the special things that we do. But I think you had another.
But it's fully renovated Scandinavian style, so it's very nice properties. We also took intentional decision not having hot tubs, even though we know that this would increase the ADR and the occupancy rate. We have other property in the area that have it, but we're performing better than them, even though we don't have them. And the reason why we decided not is not about maintenance and the cost related to it. It's more about the community. The thing is the location where we are. We are in a forest, but the chalets are relatively close to each other, and it's a mix of permanent resident there, people that are coming for the weekend, and short-term rental. And just to make sure that we buy peace with the neighborhood, we decided not to have the hot tubs.
But what we do to counteract that is that we're the only chalets in the area that have gone out, and we have partnerships with the Nordic spas in our area. So our guests, well, they don't have a spa right outside the front door, which we actually find most people don't use a spa as much as they think they do, but we provide them access to some of the Nordic spas in the region. And then that's what they really love, because they get a discount on this like premium experience that's like next level.
Oh, that's such a great idea. I actually don't have any crazy amenities either. I'm in an urban market, and I find it to be not something I want to maintain. We have a lot of rules around it, and honestly, like I just don't. I didn't want to have to deal with it. But Philip, what a great comment about like caring about the neighborhood and all that stuff, because people that are in hot tubs aren't always quiet. I mean, there can be a stigma both ways, I suppose. But I love that it was about the community as well, that there was layered approach to not doing that, because I don't think that always means more money either. I don't shop for them when I travel, and we travel quite a bit. But that's a cool way to do it. Okay, so as we wrap up, I got a couple more questions. Can you tell me anything kind of crazy that's happened in any of your houses? Like fun host story, something weird, something like, whoa, I can't believe this happened. We didn't expect this one.
Well, this one happened when we first started hosting. I think it was our first summer. Um, and another thing that we don't provide, because we're in a mature forest, like we don't have outdoor fire pits. We have the small little solo stoves that you can put on the table, which our guests love, but we don't have the big fire pits. And it's actually banned to have them in our community. Some people do anyway. But so one guest decided that they wanted to have a fire anyway. So they went and they collected stones from our landscaping, and they built this really big fire pit, and then they set our yard on fire. Like
what?
Their own bonfire, like right in there, set the yard on fire. But in their defense, they did leave $20 on the table for the landscaping costs. It was going property back together. So
Oh my God. Philip, how did you, I mean, you guys are DIYers, so did you have to come fix this?
Yeah, but it was not that bad, but still, it was the joke was about giving $20, just thinking that that was
I know.
okay.
So what we were able
Yeah,
to do with
There's
it
not.
is they'd actually done it near the patio, which we're
yeah.
lucky the patio didn't catch on fire. But in the way they had done it, we were actually able to cover it up by extending the landscaping that was alongside the patio out like
Mm.
5 feet. And so just like using the rocks to go a little 5 feet out level and putting mulch and plants in it, because other than that, it was obvious there was a big
Mm.
fire hole.
Oh my God, I'm so glad. Like I'm thinking of Justin Ford and oh my God, all the people. How did you guys find out? Like, was it only because you were there or did you see it on a camera or anything like that? Or just at the end with the $20?
So this
Yeah.
was 2018. We had not yet invested in it. And actually the first, like we had not invested in cameras yet. And the
Mhm.
first hint was the message that came through on Airbnb that said, "Oh, I left $20 for the backyard." And I was like, "What?" So I was like, "Oh,
What does this
okay."
mean?
So when I got there, I went out to the backyard and I'm like, "Okay, I guess now I get
Oh
it."
my goodness.
And that
Oh,
was, I regret this. I did
what a
not
great.
leave them a review on Airbnb. I was such a newbie host. I was so scared at the way to do it. And I was scared of getting a low
Yep.
review back because I was just getting started. And like, so, I would have handled the situation completely different now that I understand. Like, but I was so scared at the time. I just kind of stayed silent on it. And hopefully he hasn't gone on to become a pyromaniac at other people's Airbnbs.
Absolutely. Yeah. Wow. Oh my goodness. Well, guys, I really appreciate all the time that you just spent telling us about all this awesome hospitality. Can you tell me if somebody wanted to get a hold of you guys, they wanted to maybe ask you more about direct booking or do some one-on-one coaching or just anything, if they want to see your properties, how do they find you?
Oh goodness, I would be delighted. I love connecting with people. So the best way to connect with me, like business personal Instagram, which I'm trying to do better about. It's in my plan for 2026 about posting tips and tricks behind our direct booking success, on actual things that got us there. And that's at Kerri_reinvented.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks guys for the time today. I really, really appreciate it. I love that you guys are a duo and it sounds like you kind of catch what the other one doesn't, or that you have your strong spots and your lanes and you stay in them. So it's fun to hear from you. And everybody listening, if any of this was helpful for you, please give us great reviews, share us out. If you thought of somebody when you listened to this episode, send this to them because we love more people to hear about the Global Hospitality Collective. And thanks so much for listening. Bye, guys.
That's it for this episode of the Global Hospitality Collective podcast. If today's conversation made you think, inspired you, or just reminded you why hospitality matters, make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Next week, our panel, Helen, Rose, Debbie, and myself are back, and we're going beyond the listings and the tech, diving headfirst into real stories, the hard decisions, and yes, all those weird and wacky guest experiences you won't believe are true. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Thanks for listening, and as always, keep hosting with heart. See you next time.